What's up, guys?
How we doing?
Today we're going to talk to you about why Kratom sucks, which it actually doesn't. And I've got Alex here with me today, so we're going to go back and forth with some comments and feedback that we have. But the reason why we made this video to begin with was because Anthony, who you can't see behind the camera here, had the idea that we should go find all the positive Kratom videos on YouTube and just copy what they do, because it'll help our algorithm, it'll help our performance and spread the message. But the reality is, after a quick couple searches, there were not many positive Kratom YouTube videos. Matter of fact, most of them were negative, not only about Kratom, but they were also negative about kava. So we figured, you know what, if we're going to copy something, we're going to tell you it sucks, and then we're going to tell you why we disagree with that statement. First things first, I think you all know this if you've been on the earth for any period of time, and if you're a Kratom consumer, you've got to be at least 21 years of age. So I know that you know bad news travels faster than good news. News outlets, journalism, journalists, they know that if they put out there a headline that sucks, they're going to catch attention, just like we did with this video. For me, remembering that, I understand that it's a lot easier to put a bad taste in people's mouth about Kratom or kava or Botanicals because there's more negative news coverage than there is positive. What was the worst story, Alex, that you've ever seen about Kratom? What frustrated you the most?
I think the worst story, and there's many of them that have come to light like this, where they'll say the person dies from acute mitragynine toxicity, and in reality, they might have found some Kratom at the scene. He might have had Kratom in his system earlier that day. What ended up happening is they do a more thorough toxicity report and find that, oh, he had high amounts of prescription pills in his system, or he has high amounts of alcohol in his system, and they don't report on that. And the reason they don't report on that is because it's much easier to go after an industry with not nearly as much money, say, as big pharma. A lot of times just not getting the full truth, and then later finding out after the fact, like, oh, it actually wasn't the Kratom, it was a combination of things, which on all of our packaging, you'll see these warning labels, and we are also very upfront about any types of contraindication. Just making sure that kind of have to do more research and do a little bit more digging than taking every article at face value.
You mentioned a key point, acute mitragynine toxicity. They don't have an established level of what that is. When you're reading an article and that article does not explicitly state that this person had no other intoxicants in their system, then you have your answer. Because if that were the case, they would have leaned into that in the journalism. They would have said, oh my God, what is this plant that's being sold behind the counter of a gas station that killed this 23-year-old person, who, by the way, we did a full toxicology report and there was nothing in their system. Omission, or the failure to describe certain circumstances in these news articles, often is an answer in and of itself. And there's this old business phrase, no answer is an answer. Acute mitragynine toxicity, I always call BS on that, because I'm like, well, then what's the level? Tell us what the level is. How much MIT is going to actually cause a harmful side effect? I mean, we've done a lot of studies in laboratory settings with other mammals, and what we've decided that only in severe cases of mitragynine consumption do you start to see harmful side effects. Kratom is one of the only opiate-like substances that does not suppress the respiratory system unless combined with other depressants, unless used irresponsibly and in high doses.
In fact, I wanted to add to that. You can go look at Dr. Oliver Grunman's work from the University of Florida. He speaks about how safe Kratom actually is and how well it can be tolerated in high doses. So when you do see these acute mitragynine toxicity reports, there really is no set level, as Avi was saying. So just something to be aware of. And he's been doing research on Kratom, the Kratom plant, effects of Kratom, for at least 10 years. That says a lot, and people don't go looking for that, unfortunately.
We actually showed up at the Tampa Bay Times office to protest an article that they published about a year ago saying that Kratom killed 600 people in the last 10 years. Of those 600 people, 96% of them had other intoxicants found in their system, and the 4% outstanding that supposedly had none didn't have a full toxicology report run on their blood work or however else that's evaluated. So I think that's a testament to the fact that Kratom has a lot more safety than it's given credit for. Also consider, how many people do we think have died in the last 10 years due to alcohol, due to tobacco, due to processed foods? Another reason why a lot of these videos are talking about how Kratom is harmful or it's bad or it's addictive is there's unmatched expectations. Unfortunately, and this ties into another point, the FDA does not approve of Kratom. And that puts in and of itself some strict guidelines that Kratom companies have to operate within. We're not allowed to make claims. We're not allowed to necessarily talk about the University of Florida's doctor that's doing all this work. As a company, I can't really tell you, hey, this is what he's saying, this is what he's saying. I have to be very gray. And so most of the companies that understand this recognize that at any point in time, a regulatory body or the feds can rein in on their office and shut them down. So that's why we're the only company right now with the cojones to actually put this type of content out, which puts us in a weird spot. We are by far the most transparent Kratom company out there. In the past, I quit Kratom for 10 days. I showed you guys every single day of my withdrawal for those 10 days, and it really only lasted about 4 days. I sell a product that is habit forming, but also provides value if the expectations are set appropriately. So when a consumer walks into a convenience store and they buy a little blue bottle that's got kava and kratom that was advertised to them on social media as non-addictive and sober living, they go into it with the wrong expectations. They have no education. They don't know what an alkaloid is. They don't even know what kava or kratom is. But they saw something that looked cool on social media. They saw something that looked cool on the shelf. Eye appeal is buy appeal. Picked it up, they tried it, and now you got them making a YouTube video about how that company destroyed their life.
There's definitely a lot of bad actors out there, people giving people this false hope and these expectations that, oh, this is going to do this and that and the other thing, when in reality you can't make any of those claims. You can say, hey, this may help with this might help with that. No one's actually educating anyone on proper dosage and where they should start and how far apart your first dose and your second dose. So you'll see on all of our packaging, do not consume more than X amount in this amount of time, usually within a 24-hour time frame. For each case, it might be different. Some people are dealing with extreme pain or chronic pain, and they are going to need a little bit more than what the recommended dose is. But because of these expectations, we just don't know. People don't know what to do in situations when they start trying something, they start liking something. Oh, I feel really good. But then they get to a point where I don't feel so good. And oh, this has a hold on my life. So it's just really important that we always stay transparent. We always put our best foot forward with education and just make sure that we can reach our consumers by ways of this, through this video. It's very, very important that that we care and we want you to have a positive experience with Kratom and Kava and not a negative one.
6 months ago, Alex and I actually went to a trade show up in Minnesota. This was probably the most amount of Kratom I've ever consumed in a day. This is my daily product right here. It's in this little jar. There are these little tablets. I would consider this to be kind of a low dose, medium dose of Kratom. I got about 24 people to try Kratom with me that day. I broke the tablet in half. I let them take half of the tablet. 23 out of the 24 literally walked back up to our booth to tell me how great they felt. And it was mild, it was subtle, it was understated. But as you've seen in these videos before, I always say if you are going to try these products, you start low and slow and you see how you feel. You touch base with yourself. I can't explicitly tell you guys to take Kratom. I don't want to explicitly tell you guys to take Kratom. That's not what we do here. And that's where I would get myself into hot water. As I've said before, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to give you medical advice. But to tell you a little bit more about what's going on with the industry, Kratom became popular in the United States in part because of one of the number one companies, top companies, which is OPMS. Their name sounds like opium.
Yep.
And they forged the way for Kratom to make it into the mass market. They did it by naming themselves after an illegal drug. And they did it by attaching themselves to the collective of humans in the United States addicted to opiates. That is terrible branding. It has provided a purpose, it has helped people, but it's also harmed people. When regulation changes come up to the front, when they're about to ban Kratom, unfortunately, these politicians don't identify at all with a former drug addict because they themselves think of themselves as a cut above the rest of society. I've got nothing in common with so-and-so here. He was addicted to heroin, so why would I need Kratom? Or Kratom is only good for former addicts. I'm not an addict, so why would I need Kratom? Right? And so this is bad branding. But what Alex and I both know, because we've been in the Kava community, the Kava bar, Kratom bar community for years, is we've got friends that are firefighters, lawyers, doctors, business owners,
Police
homicide
officers.
detectives,
Yep.
police officers.
Yeah.
They're in there with their badge and a gun, having a tea with us, having a great conversation, being a part of the community. And these are the individuals, just like you guys watching here. If you're in a trade, if you're a professional, if you're a former addict, your life path is better than it was before. Speak up and stand up for Kratom, because when the regulators come, and they will, because the bigger industries Alex mentioned before do not like the portion of the pie that's not going to them. Everybody gets $700 a year to spend on consumable items, whatever that might be, and the tobacco company wants as much as it can get from you. and the alcohol company wants as much as it can get from you, and the younger generations are drinking less than ever. They're going to more alternatives that are healthy, that don't leave them feeling like crap the next day. For me personally, and for Alex, that's been Kava and Kratom for the last 13 years. I'd rather go out and socialize with Alex and 20 other people, wake up tomorrow feeling great, than go to a bar, spend $100 on my bar tab, and feel like a piece of crap the next day. And I think a lot of us are actually standing up and saying that. So be a part of the good branding that takes place for Kratom. And one of the ads that I just filmed the other day, I kind of came to the conclusion that I don't actually need to convince anybody new to try Kratom. There's a lot of Kratom companies out there, and there's a lot of customers spending their money with those companies that don't give a crap about them. We buy all of our packaging in the US, we buy all of our machinery in the US, all of our labor is done here in the US, and that's where people could choose to spend their money to support us, but they're not yet because we haven't gotten this channel or our outreach up to par. So that's what we spend our time doing. We don't spend our time in front of the camera making videos. This is a small portion of the day. A lot of times, Alex, myself, my whole team, we're out there grinding. We're trying to build better relationships with people. Tell me, what do you think about the market? I mean, dealing with a lot of smoke shop owners, what do they care about?
The market right now is entirely oversaturated from when I started with this company 4 years ago. And there's a lot of bad actors out there. There's a lot of brands that don't understand, that have jumped into the Kratom space, albeit from the hemp space or from the vape or tobacco space, thinking that they can make a quick buck. And they're putting these products into the market that are extremely unsafe, milligram dosages that we've never even fathomed before. It all has kind of stemmed from the 7-OH market, and now it's seeping its way into the actual Kratom extract market. People's first time trying Kratom might be a 400 milligram mitt shot, and they have no idea what they just took other than the person at the smoke shop saying, hey, this is really strong. People are liking this. Please try this, instead of, hey, this is way too strong for you. Why don't we have you try something where you can start with a half of a gold chewable that's about 22.5 milligrams of mitt and see how you feel in 15 minutes. When in reality, what's going on is you walk into these places, the smoke shop employees, and it's not really their fault. You know, the managers, the owners are just pointing to whatever's selling because they don't want to take the time to try to educate you. So a lot of the time, whatever is selling in the smoke shops has been the strongest thing that they have on the shelf. And unfortunately, for people that want to try Kratom for their first time, that's going to be a really, really bad experience.
To add to that point, when the consumers call the number on the website, when you guys watching these videos have questions and call that number, it goes to me. I end up talking to people every day that their first time trying Kratom was 7-hydroxy or was a 400 milligram shot of Kratom. When somebody steps into it at that level, it's an extreme. Whereas my first time with Kratom was a small tea, brewed with lemon juice and a little bit of turmeric and black pepper, and a much more holistic way to try that. I was stepping into Kratom for the first time in a holistic community approach. I see it on the Reddit forums. I see it in the comments. A lot of people look at smoke shops as a place that sell crappy products. A lot of people are concerned with only buying Kratom from what they think is a really good manufacturer that's done a great job of canvassing the Reddit forums, and that's how they hear about them. And there's some really good actors who are smaller companies than ourselves that sell direct to consumer only. But our bread and butter, where we get our income, is by trying to find smoke shop owners who care about Kratom, care about selling good quality products, and care enough about building a relationship that'll help them enhance their business. And that's challenging because most smoke shop owners want something cheap, strong, and that sells easy, because they're not in the business of educating consumers. And that's why we've made it our business to step out into the light, offer you guys education, offer you guys dialogue and community, and we do it at great personal risk with this YouTube video. That's what makes us special, and I think that's what we can lean into that's going to help us grow our company. Wanted to have Alex on this video today so you can kind of see another face of the company, get another voice other than just myself. Appreciate you getting on here, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And everyone, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You'll definitely be talking to this guy over here, but we're here to help, and we strongly feel that we offer the cleanest and most consistent products on the market. So any questions, please reach out.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Take care.